How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about CEI Camber Energy. It pulled back today inside of the market, being down almost 14%. But there's no surprises there because I said if you are going to be jumping into this play, you need to keep an eye on crude oil prices. We also noticed a pullback there as well. We'll talk about it further in this video. I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder, you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is the technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in the bearish case scenario and as well as in the bullish case scenario. And then we're going to be going on Fintel, taking a look at the recent short interest information. The reason why this is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know the buying and the selling behavior on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for Camber Energy CEI. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $1.07, being down 13.71%. On the low, it tested $1.01, and then on the high, testing $1.24. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 206.005 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 240.19 million shares. So we did have below average volume on the day, and it's part of the reasons why we ended up seeing a pullback in the stock. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, you can see from the RSI down below, it is at 64.16. And then when we take a look at our moving averages here on the chart, we're still above the 50-day, the 21-day EMA, as well as the 200-day, and as well as the 100-day. So like I was talking about yesterday, you want to see Camber continue to hold up the $1 level. It ended up seeing a low at $1.01, and of course we had the buyer stepping in, and we also saw a high of $1.24. So if you guys have been watching my videos long enough, the key level that we need to get above going into tomorrow is going to be $1.24. That's where I see more bulls will have some more confidence, and then we could push this stock up going to 140, and then of course we have to beat that key level where I've talked about at $1.50. Upon passing $1.50, that's where things can get interesting for this play. If we end up having a pullback though, if we continue to consolidate, of course we want to be above $1. But if we pull back even further, we want to be above the 200-day, which is at 94 cents. Once we break 94 cents, keep in mind we do have a gap that needs to be filled right here around 80 cents. So add that to your homework and as well as your due diligence. So let's see how Camber performs going into tomorrow now that we have a good idea of what this price action can look like. So we're going to take a look at the recent short interest information for CEI. So for the off-exchange short volume ratio, it is at 57.87%. And then for the off-exchange short volume, it is just over 249.70 million shares. Scrolling down on the page, the short shares availability is at 4.6 million, updated 26 minutes ago. And then for the short borrow fee rate for the latest, it is at 12.59%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume, we can see for the close of the 7th, it was at 58.30. And then for the close of the 8th, being at 57.87. So what this shows us, CEI does continue to have short squeeze potential. So now let's move on to the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for CEI. So we see on the inflows at 51.64 and then on the outflows at 52.53. Taking a look at the breakdown, it was 15.37 on the large, 28.77 on the medium, and then on the small it was 7.50. Taking a look at the outflow side, you can see on the large it was 17.64, on the medium it was 28.18, and then on the small it was 6. 82.71. Keep in mind these numbers are in the millions. Taking a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you could see for today, March 9th, it being a big outflow, negative 2.26 million. Analyzing the numbers even further for the small scale orders that tends to represent the retail side, we had more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at the large, which represents whales, institutions, and funds, we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at the turnover ratio, it was at 82.72%. So this is a big difference at what we have seen from days before. It was well over 200%, and we've seen it being as high well over 1,000%. So this does show us that there are many who are still holding on to their positions. And as you can see, when we get close to that $1 level, there's a lot of demand there. There's a lot of buying. Now let's get into the final thoughts, and we'll go over some more details as well. So for my final thoughts for CEI, Camber Energy, one thing we can clearly see from the price action, when it gets close to $1, we see a lot of buyers stepping in. So this is an area that you're going to want to continue to keep an eye on. If it breaks through this $1 level, then it needs to stay above 94 cents. Because the moment it breaks through 94 cents, that's right where we have the 200-day moving average, and then it begins to look weak. And there's also a gap to the downside that is close to around 80 cents. So just be aware of that, add that to your homework. As far as for the upside is concerned, here are the key levels you want to look out for. You want to see price action above $1.25 and as well as $1.50. The moment we see these levels being tested and we have strength and there's demand, that's where we can see the stock make some moves to the upside. And from what we saw from the volume today, there's still a lot of interest. And then when we took a look at the order flow, one thing to pay attention to as far as for the turnover ratio, it has been going down due to the fact we have been having lower volume. Also, when we went on Fintel, taking a look at the short interest information, it does continue to have short squeeze potential, and it's part of the reasons why you want to keep this play on your watch list. But please, if you're going to be trading this play, please keep an eye on crude oil prices. This is very key because many people are saying, why is this stock continuing to pull back? Why is it continuing to look weak? And we have to take a look at the economic factors outside of it, especially if you're choosing to trade in the commodity sector. So let's see how CEI performs going into tomorrow, and remember those key levels that we spoke about. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll be talking real soon.